Let's go watch it in 2D. No, let's go watch it in 3D. But if we watch it in 3D, then is it worth the cost?
Agent Valerian, you'll be running solo.
I only work with my partner.
Hi.
We're a team.
Welcome to Alpha, the city of 1,000 planets, where for hundreds of years, every species has shared their knowledge and their intelligence with each other. It's paradise.
Amazing.
Hello. This is Adolf Vega from 3D or 2D.com, and today I'm reviewing Valerian and the City of 1,000 Planets. As always, I will talk about the 3D element first. So, the movie actually looks really impressive and is an enjoyable yet flawed 3D experience. The movie uses 3D and diorama visual effect, so you're looking into the screen, and it makes really good use of this depth perspective with the 3D. Occasionally the movie does use pop-out 3D, and it looks nice. I do feel like the pop-out 3D element is underdone, and is not as pronounced as I would have liked it to be. Like, it does come out at you occasionally, but it only comes out a little bit. I thought it should be more. Now, the movie does have some problems with some scenes that are shot in darkness of space. These dark scenes look like they're out of alignment and give the viewer a disorienting, ghosting double image with certain celestial objects. These scenes are kind of rare, so that's fortunate that they're not here happening all the time. But it is worth noting because whenever those scenes do pop up, it's like, wow, it was beautiful before, and now it's all messed up because the darkness of space. And darkness, blackness like this in space is kind of hard to see in 3D. It's one of those things where darkness and 3D are not good together, especially when you have really bright objects next to the darkness. It is really hard to make those visuals work. So for this purpose, it doesn't really work well. But there are like a couple seconds here and there that are just like, whoa, really bad. When the rest of it is really great, if not good. So overall, I really do enjoy the 3D element of this movie. It's not perfect. It is not the most amazing 3D movie since Avatar. It's definitely a worthy 3D. Definitely, I think it's worth your time and your money. I definitely think if you watch this movie, you would enjoy the 3D element of this movie. So, it is not perfect. It has issues, and I feel like the 3D pop-out could have been better, but overall, it's pretty good. And that's what I'm going to give it as my rating, a good 3D. Now, onto the movie itself. Before watching this movie, I had no idea about Valerian and its comic book history. Sorry, I just didn't know anything about it. I read DC comics and Marvel comics, and this was just not at all in my wheelhouse. It's a French-made production, and I just don't know anything about it. And unfortunately, this movie does a really pathetic job of introducing this universe to a wider audience. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the movie, but it really needed to do more to explain things. Valerian is actually the name of the male lead character, and he works with his partner, Laureline. Valerian and Laureline work together in a galactic federation, and Diane Deham plays Valerian, and Cara Devine portrays Laureline. And sadly, I didn't like either one of these characters. The movie shows them working together as a team, and sadly, they have zero chemistry together. It's oof. I actually question their acting ability for both individuals. The acting is bland, and for both characters, and Valerian, the entire movie, he sounds like a bad impersonation of Keanu Reeves. It just is so wooden and unlikable. The whole Keanu Reeves surfer, kind of impression. I'm not going to try to impersonate Keanu Reeves because I know I'm not good at it.
The Keanu Reeves School of Oscar Caliber Act. I'm your teacher.
Amazing.
But it's just bad. And, Laureline seems bored within this whole movie. She occasionally becomes frustrated at Valerian and his antics, which is, sometimes actually, justified. And she's always criticizing him. And this banter of criticizing back and forth, I just found it annoying and tedious. And if the chemistry works with the characters, it might be fine. But I didn't like the characters, so this banter of being playful and hating each other, but not hating each other, but liking each other, I just found it annoying. So that's how the movie is. The whole movie has these two characters as the main characters, and I don't like either one of them. So that's a really bad way to start things. Now, the actual premise of this movie is really interesting. I actually really do like it. Unfortunately, it throws the viewer into the deep end and doesn't do a good job of setting up this universe. I don't know anything here going in. I have read zero of the comic books, never heard of any of this. So this movie, it's a science fiction movie that's set a few hundred years into the future. And in some ways, it's very similar to Star Trek, and humanity's joined an intergalactic federation of planets. But unlike Star Trek stories, except for Deep Space Nine, this movie is mostly set in one location, which is a gigantic intergalactic space station. This space station is called Alpha and is the home of over 1,000 planets and cultures that live all together in peace. Pretty interesting. The movie has a massive cast of characters, but they're not all properly introduced. I don't know who these characters are, and it's hard to keep track of how many characters they are and what their motivations are. The main story is about Laureline and Valerian as they are investigating the truth about an alien species that was thought to be extinct. The story flies by at the speed of light, and the movie rarely gives the audience any time to explain what's going on. They're just rushing through this movie, and whenever they actually try to explain things, it feels really obvious, and it doesn't feel organic at all. The movie is just crammed too much stuff. If this was like a TV series, it would have been like a whole season in one movie because it just is so much there. The premise is interesting. I really liked how it captured my imagination with many fascinating elements. It was interesting, even though I didn't understand everything. One scene has the characters of Valerian and Lorelei interacting with the two dimensions at the same time. So one dimension is visible to us, and another dimension is invisible to us. And they're parallel dimensions, and they exist at the same time. And this is a very interesting scene. I've never seen anything quite like it. You don't see this on Sliders. The movie has really interesting alien design, too. I really have to give them credit because they've done a really good job of making these aliens not all bipedal humanoids, and giving them some personality and making them look distinctive. The ones that are humanoid are very different and look unique as well. Some of the aliens I really like in this movie are called the Snigzogs. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing this, but yeah. These aliens are trade secrets for money and are like a trio. So there's like 3 of these little guys, and they're brown and they have like wings and they look like Alf a little bit. But they are just full of personality. I love these aliens. They're a wonderful element of this movie, and I love them. They're annoying, but likable. If you know Star Trek, they kind of remind me of the Ferengi aliens, but a little bit more to the extreme of that, which, the Ferengi are very much a greedy alien species in Star Trek, and this species is also very greedy, but they have a lot of personality and they work well together, and they're like little spies, and I like them. There's another alien here that's called Bubble, and it can morph itself into different forms, and it makes for a very fun striptease scene. And she's integral to the plot. Many of these aliens look really cool. I really liked how they looked, and I like the premise and the ideas behind this movie. I just wish it was better presented and better executed. Before I wrap up this review, I need to talk about the visual effects. The visuals are simply gorgeous. The special effects are a real treat and are the definition of eye candy. Many scenes are lush with vibrant colors and that look appealing and attractive. The visual design is distinctive and works well for this sort of movie. I enjoy the computer graphics and how they presented the other worlds and other dimensions. It's a beautiful movie, and it complements this movie's ideas perfectly. I really have to give them credit for the visual design of this movie. In closing, this movie, I wanted to love it. I really wanted to. I'm a big fan of Star Trek and a big fan of sci-fi in general, so this is right up my alley, but I could not get over the many flaws. The wooden acting of the main characters is just unbearable to watch. It really hampers my enjoyment because the premise is so interesting. It's so bad that these two characters, Lorelai and Valerian, are just so not likable to watch on screen. You know, it's sad. It's a sad movie because it's so much fun. If they had this as a Netflix TV show, I would be game. I would totally watch this. You know, Sci-Fi picked it up or something, I would be interested. You know, because I like the premise. It's interesting. Compelling character design, and, you know, I want to know more about Alpha and the City of 1,000 Planets. You know, I want to know more about how Earth has changed, and, you know, it's a cousin of Star Trek, and I love Star Trek, so I want to see more of this because I love Star Trek and I love this idea, not the execution. The execution is flawed, very, very flawed. It's a beautiful mess of a movie. And to wrap up, my final score, my final verdict on the movie itself is going to be a 6 out of 10. I wanted it to be better, but it ain't that horrible. It's just flawed, and maybe someone else could make this movie in the future and make it more likable with better characters, and, you know, just keep a simpler plot because it's too complicated at times. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye. All right, so that's gonna wrap up this podcast.
Remember to like, comment, favorite, subscribe, love, whatever, heart it, do something.
3D or 2D.com can be found on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher Radio, and SoundCloud. And if you want to send us email, our email address is email3d or2d@gmail.com. And thank you again for listening. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye, everyone.